here on the streets of Toronto. He led 3 of the 85 laps, driving the number 9 PNC Bank Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. His 4th podium of 2024 after starting 15th. A remarkable drive by Scott today. 141st career podium, which ties you now, Scott, the all-time lead with Mario Andretti when it comes to podium finishes in IndyCar. So that's not bad. That's not bad. So congratulations, 15th to 3rd. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was, frustrating, I think, because of yesterday, to be honest. We had a very good car all weekend. Decided to wave a lap off because of, a car coming out the pits, which I probably didn't need to, and that lap would have got us through, and then screwed up the last lap. So that was frustrating. I think we should have been a lot further up the grid. The car definitely had a ton of speed, and just saved fuel. It was kind of weird. We got maybe 4 or 5, maybe 4 cars at the start or 3 cars at the start, and then started picking them off. And then once we got clean air, we could just run really fast pace. Low 61 ones at the end, and we just kept overcutting everybody. And the same happened once we got to the greens as well. So I guess in theory we just kind of needed a bit of a longer race, maybe a 120 lap race would have been great. But kudos to the team, and congrats obviously to Andretti and Kyle and Herta on an excellent race winning in 2nd place.
Did you have a feeling the overcut would work best for you today?
I don't know. We were kind of bummed after we saw the tyre choice. It was kind of weird. We figured that a lot of people were moaning about the greens, so we thought that the field would have been a lot of green starters, but it was majority blacks.
Yeah.
We kind of fell for that. We should have mystery boxed it, which is don't choose, and then you get the minority. So we should have done that, which would have been maybe better for us, but the overcut worked well. So interesting day. Obviously a lot of accidents there at the end, and hopefully everybody was okay. I haven't heard too much on that, but definitely pretty exciting racing up there.
Yeah, everyone's okay. The best news of this day. All right, so we'll open it up for questions. We've got a couple of roving microphones. We'll just start down the road. Jack, you can lead us off, and Patrick and then Joey.
Can you talk about the tire performance today? Like green, most of you used kind of with less laps. And how was the tires today, black and green?
To be honest, I think we had a different outlook on the tires than maybe potentially you thought after warm-up. I thought that both tires were going to be good, and of course there's always a crossover though from the soft to the hard tire, and for the hard tire you want to go as long as possible to maximize that, but then on the softer tire, the green tire, today you want to go a little bit shorter, that way you're not falling into too much drag later in this thing. So the performance was great, right? Like the tires held in well. I was super happy with them all weekend. I think this has been the best tire choice of the year. Of course, I'm going to say that because we're super fast this weekend, but honestly, without lap pace and just the general feel of the tire and then degradation too, I thought was pretty solid. I think maybe a little bit more deg would have created a little bit better racing, but overall, Firestone came here with a very, very good tire, I think.
Patrick and Joey.
Scott, coming from so far back, I gotta see the strategy. You wanted a long race, of course, but did you see a lot of the action that happened? Because as you were coming through, there was a lot of carnage throughout. Did you have to dodge any of that?
I think most of it was behind us at that point. I don't know what other carnage was going on. I saw the 3 and the 12, which looked like it must have been pretty fun with how animated the 3 was. Obviously they've had some close contact racing in the last few races, which is, it's tough when it's teammates too, but I haven't seen that to react to that. Obviously the crash with Patho captured a few people there. One was pretty spectacular, so luckily I was ahead of that at most of the time. I think the lucky car out of that one was the 10 car. Everybody kind of just crashed in front of him or got a penalty, which definitely helps, and you got to take those days, and they did a hell of a job. So I didn't see too much carnage. The 3 and the 12 was close to me because it was right behind me. I kind of saw it going into 5, but I was no part of it.
Joey.
Kyle, you kind of did your best Rubens Barrichello impression, holding this guy behind you. I'm just kind of curious, navigating how to not necessarily pressure Colton, but also keep the
to be honest, I was actually I was pressuring Colton because I was trying to get him to go faster because Scott was breathing down my neck for definitely those restarts. You know, I was trying to do the best I can to manage the gap in front. That way, I'm not going too slow in certain sectors where Scott was really quick. But I'm also trying to manage the gap from behind to make sure that Scott's not passing me, not diving on me. So it was definitely a chess game out there, especially at the end with the restarts. Before then, we had a ton of pace, right? Like I think if we were in front of Colt, we would have sailed off into the sunset. We were super fast, but I was just stuck in his dirty air the entire race, and maybe could have passed him, caught him off guard a couple times, but ultimately I was team first.
And then Scott, coming to you, I guess. I mean, you're still in the thick of the championship fight, obviously. So I mean, like, how annoying is it, even though it's a teammate, he's also a points leader trying to catch, that the good fortune continues to kind of go his way?
You know, whether it's, you know, I wouldn't say it's good fortune, man. They do a hell of a job. You know, it's always won 2 championships in the last 3 years. You know, that team is pretty bumped up. So I don't want to take anything away from that. You know, you know, you create a lot of your own good luck, and they do a good job of it. So, you know, we'll keep fighting here. I think you know, without our tire issue over in America and the MGU failure, it's, you know, at Ohio, I think we would maybe be leading the championship. So, you know, it's frustrating, but you can't do anything about those situations. You know, it's out of your control, and you know, we'll keep our head down here. I think this point last year I was maybe 120 points back or something, and we closed it down to, you know, 60, 70. So until we're out of it, man, we're never going to give up. So they're a tough team. So you know, I see all they do, and they do it well.
And then just last one to me is tying Mario is in anything is a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah, I didn't even know anything about that. That's very cool. You know, podiums are a big deal, and you know, it's always fun to celebrate. You know, obviously you want to be on the top step, but you know, to be at the top of it, the peak of it, especially in this current field, man, it feels really good. So you know, Mario's a hell of a guy. Obviously accomplished a hell of a lot more than I have in you know, my career in many different, you know, categories, and you know, I think we're very lucky to see him in the majority of races, and what an ambassador he is for our sport.
Back to Patrick and then one more in the front. Go ahead.
Kyle, just to sum up a bunch of things you said, if you had overcut or jumped Colt somehow in the pits, there was no team orders there. You were that was part of the plan. I mean, there wasn't going to be you having to hold back or anything like that. You could have gotten and you were good.
No, there's no preconceived notions. Of course, we went into the race saying, hey, we need to dominate this race, and we need to run up front. And we need to not put each other in positions to where we might potentially get beat by other people. Ultimately, our strategy that we were both on was the best one to be on, and it just so happens that we both hit on the same lap. Fortunately, we were not next to each other, so we're not hurting each other in pit lane, and we come out doing the exact same thing. So there was no chance of an undercut and overcut potentially slowing somebody down just to get a position on one another, which obviously would hurt us. So ultimately, Colton, like I said before, Colton qualified on pole, deserving of the win. Was also very fast. I think we were faster, but he was very fast himself. So yeah, so he's deserving, and I wasn't going to pressure him to an extent to where it might cause a hiccup for either one of us, not only for him. So.
When you lead every session over the course of the weekend, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, like Colton coming into this weekend, he was super fast here last year, and he had some unfortunate things happen in qualifying where when it rained and couldn't transfer, and this weekend he showed his pace once again in all sessions. So I think just his, not only the race performance, but his weekend performance deserved him to win.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Scott, a question for you. We all know how the championship is hard to get, and you have to be good on all types of tracks. Your four street courses this year, 2 wins, a third, and a 7th place in St. Pete. How you take that in perspective for this break and going towards the end of the championship run?
Yeah, you know, I think it's definitely interesting with how it ends. We've got 1 road course left, and 4 short tracks. So that, you know, should be good for the Penske's, I guess. Whether it was tailored that way, I have no idea. But you know, it's. I think we had really good cars at Iowa as well. You know, it was a little bit different there. Just it was a struggle for passing. Milwaukee would be interesting. They've really got to work on, I think, the formula for those tracks. Because nobody wants to just follow the leader, and that's unfortunately with the repave at Iowa, that kind of ruined our best short track that we've had for a good 5-10 years. So be interesting to see. The Milwaukee test for us, there was almost zero dig as well, and it was extremely hard to pass. So we have to see how that plays out. I know they're talking about bringing a softer tire. So I think dig is key. You need somewhere between 3 and 4 seconds over a stint, and that definitely spices it up and makes it interesting. And I know Firestone don't want to hear people talking about degradation, but to create great racing, that's what you need. But we'll see. It's been a long time since we've been in Nashville. It was a great place for our team. Milwaukee has been in the past as well, and so St. Louis. So anything's possible, man. We'll keep trying.
We'll take one more in person, maybe 2 if we can, and then we have time for one off Zoom. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, James Jordan, Wide World of Motorsports. Thanks for coming, guys. Now that you've ran hybrid on all 3 styles of track, oval, road, street course, which style did you notice that made the biggest difference, specifically with like weight and overall boost?
Mine didn't work in Ohio, so that was the worst part.
To be honest, I was completely zoned out when you were asking the question because I thought you were asking
He's asking about
Scott. So
hybrids. About hybrids.
it's just about.
Road course, street course,
That's the biggest
or an oval.
change.
I mean, it's heavier. It creates a little bit of power. I personally don't think it's doing anything for the actual racing. I think some people are starting to think that, but I don't think that is the case whatsoever.
What else could there hand up? Take one more, and then we have time. Bruce, we'll come to you off Zoom. Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Dixon, in a race like this, how to decide between undercut or overcut?
A lot of the times it's just determined by what tire you start on, really. I think we were committed to going long when we started on the black tire, which is meant to be more durable. But anything can change. A caution at any point can kind of flip it on its head. But it seemed like a lot of other teams had a different read on it. Like the 3 car started on used greens, which
Yeah, that was wild to me.
I didn't think anybody on this planet would do that.
It didn't work, but
All is on the table, I guess. I think you feel it pretty quickly whether it's going to work or not. For us, we were saving a lot of fuel. We could just sit with the people that we were with, even the fellow competitors that were on the primary tire, and as soon as we got clean air, we could really attack, and that's when we knew the overcut was going to work. But I've been in situations where you think that you get clear air and you just don't go any faster. So it's hard because it's the first time here with the hybrid. You're not really sure with the extra weight. It's a tire that we've run earlier this season, but a tire that has run with a car that's 100 or 105 pounds lighter on weight. So a lot of tracks this year are kind of a lot unknown, to be honest.
Bruce Martin, NBC Sports. Go ahead, Bruce.
Hey guys, with today's competition, how rare is it to see one driver have a perfect weekend, lead both practices, all 3 practices, the pole, and then win the race?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a shock from within our organization, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's a surprise to everyone that Andretti Global is really good on street courses, and so is Colton Herta. And Colton Herta, I think personally, is one of the best qualifiers at the moment in IndyCar, especially this year, right? So it's really not a shock to me whatsoever, and it showed this weekend. So of course, on any given weekend, it always changes a lot. But when we come to street courses, we typically have a lot of confidence coming into them. So yeah.
I kind of agree, to be honest. I think 4 of the fast 6 were Andretti, one cars. So, they're extremely fast out of the box. Even the warm-up this morning, they threw down some pretty impressive laps. So, yeah, it's nice when you can just have kind of the pace, but it doesn't always play out that way. Sometimes, strategy, especially when you start from the front, you can be a bit of a sitting duck sometimes. So, honestly, for Colton, it was nice to see him have a smooth weekend and a deserved weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. Any other questions in person? Lucille, you got one more and we'll wrap up from there.
So this weekend, you know, we got some experience now with the hybrid, and we got push to pass and some hybrid to use. Which did you use most? Did you use them together? How did that work?
I use the hybrid every single lap. It was definitely worth quite a bit of time here, more so than the ovals, and that's to be expected, right, with lower speeds. And I really didn't use that much overtake. Like coming into the last caution, I had 154 seconds left. So.
I used everything, every lap. They're in a little bit better position than I was. So, yeah, I think I had maybe 50 seconds to go with you know, the last restart. But
44.
44, whatever it was. And yeah, hybrid every lap. You know, it's kind of if everybody's doing it, you kind of got to do it.
That's a good number, 44. Right? Happy birthday.
Yeah, tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. Enjoy the Olympic break. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Right,
cheers.
Technology
Yes.
Raceway.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. Kyle Kirkwood, Scott Dixon here. We continue to wait. Colton Herter will be on his way here momentarily.